Even if you exercise regularly, spending long hours sitting can have adverse effects on your health. Here with me today, I have Ruben Parada, an ATG L3 coach, and he's going to show us how to counteract this.
Hey guys, so I got into personal training because I lost 100 pounds and it radically changed my life. I did all this while working in an office, and I eventually found ATG because I was having a lot of knee pain, experiencing some lower back pain from having suffered a herniated disc in the past. And I was just looking for ways to rehab this. So I've been an ATG coach officially for about 3.5 to 4 years. This way of training has radically improved my own ability, and it's helped me get awesome results with my clients. So I'm excited to show you guys the workout today because it helped a lot with my own story, and I mostly help people that work a lot. So they oftentimes are sitting a lot, and there's a lot of these exercises that are going to be able to help you reverse out some of the effects of sitting. So my client Kieran here has been working with me for 2.5 months now. He's able to do some awesome stuff. So excited to show you guys what he can do and some of the things we've been working on to reverse out some of the effects of everyday life and sitting and working so much, because this man works like 60, 70-hour weeks. He's a business owner.
Well, Kieran, welcome to the video. And how did you find ATG?
So last year, the doctor diagnosed me with osteoporosis at age 70. So I thought, okay, I need to do the strength training. So I went on YouTube. I found ATG. I really liked it. All the stuff that Ben Patrick does. So I went to the website, found Ruben, and then I started working with Ruben a couple of 2.5 months ago.
I love it. And how's it been for you so far?
Oh, it's been great. I'm getting a lot more muscles. I've never done strength training. All through here, I can feel some of my muscles coming back. I can see them. And also the body has a sense, there's a personal sense of recovery and growth, and like a bit of a young man kind of feel that I haven't felt for a while. And so I'm happy with that.
I love it. Well, you said you're 70, right? There's no way you look it.
Oh, thank you.
Let's get into the workout then.
All right.
Where most people go wrong when they start trying to get back into exercise after taking a long break because of work is they start by doing the things they used to do in high school, right? So they get right back into barbell squats, deadlifts, all these heavy things. And ATG's actually had a lot of success with helping people start at a lower gradient, right? So we start by scaling ability, and that can go in a lot of ways. For example, starting with a reverse step up here. So controlling the way down, pausing at the bottom, coming back up. This is a shortened position that's much easier than something like a full squat, right? So Kieran, if you don't mind stepping over here and demonstrating, this can be a great starting point for somebody that's having knee pain. And you can even start lower, right? Because the higher this goes, the more difficult it is, the more pressure there is on the knee. But there's a lot less pressure here than there is in a full deep knee bend. So doing this will help you to start gaining ability and strengthening the muscles around the knee and tendons, so that then you can get into a full deep squat. Kieran, do you mind showing your squat? So some people already have the ability to have a great squat like this, but if you don't, that's one way to start rebuilding it. Do you want to show us what you can do on the hops? Yeah. So obviously that's a lot more pressure than if you do this at a shallower amount of knee bend. So Kieran already has a great squat, so we really just need to work on increasing his strength. But because he's got osteoporosis and you also have
A hernia.
right, he also has a hernia, we don't want to add too much load. So there's other ways to manipulate the effect on the muscle, right? So we looked at the shortened position of a split squat. That is one way. You would have to add a lot of load to get the same effect as you would with something like a squat. Now we can actually manipulate the position, right? So the position, when you squat this way with the hip flexed like this, there's a lot less tension on the quads. However, as you start to lengthen the hip flexors here, there's a lot more quad dominant focus. And then you would go into something like a knees over toes squat, which has a lot more tension on the muscle. So that's how we can scale it, by adding these positions. And so what I've been doing with him is doing things like a hack squat. So here's a lot of effect on the muscle without having to add a ton of load. As a matter of fact, just those
Do you want to turn
5
around to the
pounds,
side? So that we can see how upright your chest is, yeah.
yeah, just those 5 pounds right here feel like 50 on your back, right? So there's a big difference. So that's kind of how we've been scaling these exercises, is just making the positions harder, playing around with the tempo. And for somebody that has to rebuild their squat, one of the staple key exercises, Kieran, that's good. One of the staple key exercises that we do in the ATG system is the ATG split squat. So doing something like this for somebody who has really tight hip flexors can be very beneficial, because it gets you stronger in the opposite of sitting, right? So here, when you're sitting, these hip flexors adapt to this position, so they tighten up. And this is like the complete opposite of that position for that. So somebody that, again, scaling ability, we could even start assisted here and then work to unassisted and to increase the strength and lower the platform on the front foot to increase the length of the hip flexor. So Kieran actually started around this height, but now you can do flat ground, right? So if you want to show that, back leg straight, good. So being able to maintain this ability into your 70s, 80s will give you a lot of longevity for being able to walk, being able to run, for example, because it keeps those hip flexors long. And if you see a lot of elderly, they tend to walk like this with kind of like a posterior pelvic tilt and kind of rounded shoulders. And a lot of that is actually due to tight hip flexors.
Yep.
So I think this can be greatly beneficial. And you can even start doing this on like a chair, right? You don't have to start on flat ground where it's too steep of a gradient and you might actually hurt your groin and your hip flexor.
Which is why this box is so key right here. You can use
100%.
hand assistance and you can raise it to about this height right here.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great piece of equipment because, as you said, you can bring it up even to 2 feet. And I've actually had to start people here, and I've actually had people that can't even start here. So then you would start them on split squats or even doing holds in this position to lengthen that out. Yep. So another key exercise that I've been using with Kieran, and he's not as impressive at this one, no offense, is the ATG seated good morning, right? So he has to work on his ability to resist rounding because of the osteoporosis. So we use this one for that, right? Strengthening the muscles that help you resist rounding in the lower back, and then also lengthening the groin right here. So this one was also key in my recovery from herniated disc because it was really useful for strengthening my lower back and taking care of all these muscles that tighten up. Do you want to show us this one? So you can actually scale the range of motion with this by just lifting up the platform, and I actually think you're at 30 degrees right now, so let me lift it up a little bit more.
When you first started with Kieran, did you start at this height or even higher?
It was even higher. It was about 45 to, yeah, so that's really good. He's able to resist rounding all the way down and then come up. Good. So, are you feeling a stretch in the groin at all on this one? A little bit?
And his back is nice and straight too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with him, we've been working on doing this with a dumbbell variation. Let me lower this a little bit more because I think you can hit that 15. So dumbbells here, chest up, back arch again. Good. Maintain that arch. Excellent. Good. So that's great. Keep going. Give me 5 more reps. So as you saw, obviously we had another elderly here, or young person here, Calamity. She's able to do like 135 pounds in this exercise. So everybody has their own strength and weaknesses, but this is one we've been working on a lot because I think it'd be very helpful for his condition and also just getting him more flexible in general.
And you can use those dumbbells as light as you want or as heavy as you want. And that's why it's so scalable.
And you can also just drop them here if you want to lower them. You can also just drop them here for safety. It's a lot safer than scaling it with a bar on back, which some people might actually be able to start in that ability. But for him, this is,
so much safer. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the power of personalized coaching or in-person coaching is you can make changes on the fly.
Yep.
Some of the areas that get tight when you're sitting, right? We have the front of the hip. We worked on the inside of the hip. Now we're going to work on the back of the hip. And this exercise is great for Kieran specifically because he has a hard time flexing the spine because of the osteoporosis. But here you can do so safely because you're supporting the back, and then you can also lengthen the hamstrings one at a time. So you're strengthening and lengthening the hamstrings without putting too much pressure on the lower back. So elephant walks, do you want to give that a try? I think these are like a great way to get flexible fast too because you're pulling on that hamstring tendon gently and at a gradient that you can do without pain, and it helps your body adapt a lot quicker than if you were to just try to stretch it out, right?
When you first started with him, was it at this height or was it higher up?
It was a good bit higher. I think you can actually do lower than this.
Yeah.
Do you want to try a little bit lower? Yeah. Whatever. I've seen you go all the way down to 6, but yeah, it's about here before. Okay, so yeah, and you're still able to pretty much straighten it all the way out. So the goal on this one is being able to get your palms to the floor
but keeping the legs straight.
What do you think about the pigeon? The good old pidge, Kieran.
The pidge, yeah.
The pidge.
I don't love it, but it is actually working. So you get used to the exercise. It's not, you get used to it and suddenly you're feeling in control of it rather than in control of you.
Absolutely, yeah. So I love using an incline bench for the pigeon because it allows you to scale the amount of stretch that you're getting. So with Kieran, we actually had to start at 60 degrees. Right now he's down to 30. And this is lengthening the piriformis muscle. And you're actually also strengthening it because you work from having to use both hands to assist yourself to one hand to doing it without any assistance. It's almost like you're trying to externally rotate that hip. So it's also a strength exercise, not just a lengthening one, but I find this one really useful for people that have lower back pain or might at times have suffered from sciatica because that piriformis muscle is right next to the sciatic nerve. So giving it, making it more flexible gives us some space from there and it can help reduce the symptoms.
Makes sense. And you can see he's using a nice incline on this bench right here.
Yeah.
With the squats, he was getting all the way down, split squats all the way down, but this, probably some work to do on this one, which is a good thing.
For sure, yeah. It's always a good thing to find your weaknesses because then you know what to work on to make yourself better in general. We've also been working a lot on this dumbbell pullover. I like to use 2 dumbbells because it helps correct any imbalances between shoulders. And this one's great because it lengthens up the triceps, the chest, opens up the diaphragm a little bit, so it allows you to take deeper breaths. And if you look at it, it's technically the complete opposite of a slouch position that a lot of us take when we're sitting. So getting strong here also helps you build your chest. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's favorite exercise. Kieran told me he wants to gain muscle, so this is a key one that we've been using to strengthen the lats and cause some hypertrophy in the chest and lats as well. Okay, and a great complementary exercise to the dumbbell pullover is the trap 3 raise. So this one helps to strengthen these lower trap muscles that actually help us stabilize overhead as well as to posture up. So I think this one's key for anybody who works at a desk, and they're actually probably the weakest lift that I notice in most of my clients, myself as well. It's actually still one of my
Same with me. I've worked with
links.
tens of thousands of clients. This is the weakest one that I've seen from people online. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and like you mentioned, when you sit, you're slouched over like this. This is the exact opposite of doing that because you actually have to be nice and upright when you do it.
Yeah. So for upper body, I would say this is one of the key lifts for anybody who works a lot, right? Who's a business person. Gaining more ability here is also going to help you just like be more athletic in general because it allows you to keep that forward up stance, you know, and then even in your squat, it actually helps you keep a more upright posture.
Yep.
I've had to troubleshoot this with a lot of people, so I actually find that if somebody has a hard time doing this on a bench, they can actually just do this against the wall. So bringing the butt back, keeping the chest up, and then coming up from there. And it's a little bit more accessible than the bench or the back extension. The back extension is ultimately where you want to be able to do it from, as well as a little bit of a higher gradient.
Ruben, you've taken us through these movements, and Kieran, you've demonstrated them really nicely. Have you ever done strength training before?
No,
No?
only cardio, running or walking or nothing.
So you're 2.5 months into strength training. I think maybe a week into it, you made the mistake of telling me that you've never done a pull-up. So I've been working on getting Kieran to being able to do his first pull-up at 70. So I wanted to show you guys, this is one of the exercises we've been doing in addition to training the arms, lots of just getting stronger in general. But I think for building muscle, which is one of his main goals, being able to do chin-ups is one of the king of exercises for it. So want to get him there, and let's show him what you got. So he calls these chin downs, but doing an eccentric chin up is one of the best ways to strengthen your way into being able to do an actual chin up on the way up. So he's able to control here about 10 seconds on the way down, meaning he's really close to being able to get up as well. This is, one of the quickest ways to get strong doing it, man. It's impressive, right?
Amazing.
So we usually do 4 sets of 5 of these, and we're gonna work our way to being able to do 5 before adding. Yep, go ahead.
Do another one?
Yeah, you got it. You're getting your workout in. What do you mean? Get up there. Awesome. So the next progression from here would actually be assisting him on the way up and then having him control on the way down.
But even this, the control on the way down is amazing. I mean,
it
you see
is.
some people doing negatives and they drop right when they get to the top, but he's holding it nice and strong and controlling all the way down.
Exactly.
At first, I dropped.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and we've been doing this
I've
what
gotten
now?
used to it.
For four weeks.
Probably.
And you progress fast. That's amazing. Wow.
Very fast, very strong guy.
Ruben, thanks for taking us through this workout. And Kieran, thanks for performing these so well. I mean, these are awesome. I mentioned to Ruben before, but your squat mobility is unlike anything I've ever seen, especially for a 70-year-old guy. Super amazing.
Thank you.
At our age 1 to 100 gym, we're going to have professional athletes, younger kids, older folks, all training under one roof. And we're going to have amazing coaches like Ruben training there as well. So thank you again so much for coming.
A pleasure.
And we hope to see you guys in the next video.